Okay, let's continue to look at this problem. Well, whenever we try to solve something, in your mind, you need to have the physical picture. Okay, think about that. If you have a piece of conductor like this, and then by some technique, suppose that you can use some technique to perturb this material and generate a group of charge inside this piece of conductor or somewhere inside this piece of conductor. And then you watch this isolated charge to dissipate. 这个 isolated charge 呢，因为譬如说，假设你有一个共涂药，有一个铁锤 ，you hit it. Of course, that a hammer is a microscopic sort of big thing. Well, basically, for example, if you use a laser, and then you send a laser pulse to this piece of material, and then because of the force from this laser, there's some radiation force from this laser that can push the electron inside this material, and then create a region where you have net charge. Well, originally a piece of conductor is neutral, 它是电中性的. But if you send a small perturbation onto this material, you could create some region where you have some net charge. 在某个地方，你有把这个电子推开之后呢，有的地方比较负，有的地方比较正。Then we are calculating the time for this system to settle back to neutral again. Okay, this is the calculation we are doing. Okay, so suppose that because we are looking at some isolated charge, and with some perturbation, this means that it's a function of time. Therefore, we use this equation of continuity. This equation telling you that the divergence, basically the current flux plus the variation of the charge with respect to time, the summation of these two terms has to be equal to 0. Okay, but this perturbation, J, suppose that this perturbation comes from some electric field. Okay, so this J now is a function of electric field, but this electric field is associated with charge through this Gauss law. So you can convert this equation of continuity into an equation describing the change of the charge with respect to time. 随时间变化的这个电荷，你可以把它表示成这个样子。哇，这个式子呢很容易解了 ，right？ 这是一个ordinary differential equation of order 1, so very easily you end up having this solution. And this rho 0, rho naught is the perturbed charge at time equal to 0. 在时间等于0的时候呢，你送一个这个电场，很快的电场进去，产生这么一个 small perturbation, and then this charge is going to settle. It's going to settle to 0 with an exponential decay, rho of time, rho of t, and then originally, if you have initial perturbation of rho 0, then this is going to drop over time with a characteristic time constant equal to epsilon over sigma. 也就是说，这个呢掉到原来 1 over e 的 point about 37% of the original charge. It takes time of epsilon over sigma. Okay. So the decay time, the characteristic time for this charge to settle to a small value is equal to this epsilon over sigma. 那这个 epsilon 跟 sigma 你可以查表，譬如说对铜来讲的话，这个时间只有10的负19次方秒，哇，10的负19次方秒多快，快得不得了 ，right？ 比现在 laser 能够产生的 pulse width 还要短。Well, you can find femtosecond laser, a few femtosecond laser or sub-femtosecond laser. Femtosecond 是10的负15次方秒，这个时间呢是10的负19次方秒。So the response of a piece of conductor to an electric field is considered instantaneously, immediately, because this settling time, relaxation time of the charge, is on the order of 10 to the minus 19 second. OK， 所以我们说这个在导体里头不会有电场。我这个是假设你等了10的负19次方秒之后，你这个导体里头不会有电场。但10的负19次方秒了，对我们人类生活里头经验来讲的话，就是立即，就是 instantaneous, right away, immediately. Okay. Right, good. Now, you have collisions. You have collisions inside a piece of conductor. This means that you will dissipate energy inside a piece of conductor. Then we have to calculate how much energy is dissipated in a piece of wire, right? And we can do a very simple calculation from Newton's law, from Newton's mechanics. Well, this expression is a little bit different from that in your handout, okay? Well, suppose that I have a differential power, and this differential power is described by a differentiation of the F dot with U. F dot with U is the power described by the Newton's mechanics. And suppose that this a small amount of power is carried by a small amount of charge dq. Okay, and this dq can be described as a volume charge density multiplied with a differential volume. 所以呢，在这里头一连串下来的话 ，this is just algebra, and this law you pick up this law together with this u to write down j. And now you have the differential power equal to the electric field inside this piece of wire multiplied with this j, dot product, and then this volume integration. So you end up having this expression for the power dissipated in a piece of conducting materials. Well, I have to say that this is not limited to a piece of wire. This applied to any kind of conducting current and associated with the driving electric field. So this is a power equal to this, and this is called Joule's law. Okay, and because of this volume integration, so you know that this is a volume power density. 因为这里呢是对体积做积分，所以呢这个是每单位体积里头的功率是这么大。If you have electric field driving a current, okay, this equation is applicable to ohmic material. It's also applicable to convection current, any kind of current driving by electric field. Okay, so let's just use this equation to a very common example in a wire. Suppose we want to calculate the power dissipated in this wire, and in this wire you have electric field. Well, you notice that this is a piece of conductor, but there's an electric field inside. Okay, that is because you have a power supply connected to it. If you don't have a power supply connected to it, inside a piece of wire, there's no electric field. Okay, with this electric field inside a piece of wire, there's a continuous current inside this wire, and this J is a current density. Okay, the volume current density, but this is ampere per surface area. Okay, 所以呢，在这里呢，你有这么一个volume，然后呢 ，you put into this integration. This volume can be calculated from the multiplication of the length and the surface. So you sort of decompose this volume into dl and ds. So you end up having the familiar expression. The power dissipation inside a piece of wire is equal to V multiplied with I. Okay, because this term is the current, this term is the voltage. Okay, so this is quite straightforward result. But because of Ohm's law, you can convert this V into I through this resistance. So you have I square R or equal to V square over R. OK， 所以呢，这个是在一个这个导线里头，一个电子电路里头最常用的一个功率的损耗的值就是这个。OK，and it's based on Joule's law. And this is just a very simple example, the most familiar example you can have. But don't forget that this is also applicable to other kinds of devices, including vacuum tube, vacuum diode, or particle accelerators, where you have electric field driving some charge current. OK， 那这只是呢，在一般的这个有导体的电路里头最常见的一个式子。有没有问题？没有，来，轻松愉快。这个热呢这个撞的时候会产生热，所以这个是很简单一个照片，就是当你电流这个打到导体里头来，它会发热，热到这个就是一个电热线的一个机制。OK， 所以呢，这个热经常人们也拿来用来加热东西加热食物等等。OK。Now, when we deal with vector field, there will be boundary conditions, especially when this vector field is defined through the divergence or through the curl operators. You can deduce the boundary conditions for the normal components or for the tangential component. So let's look at this boundary condition for the current. Well, now let's just focus on neutral materials. Okay, for neutral materials, the equation of continuity, you can remove this partial derivative of charge with respect to time from the equation of continuity. Okay, just take out this. If you take out this, then you have a divergence J equal to 0. And from this, you can derive the Kirchhoff's current law. Okay? 那这个once the divergence of J is defined, you look for the definition of curl of J to get the tangential component of this vector. So through this curl of E equal to 0, you can write the curl of J divided by sigma equal to 0. Sigma is a conductivity. 所以呢，在这里你有两个式子，这两个式子呢，分别告诉你这个这个电流的 divergence 跟 curl 的条件是什么 ？All right， 那学到这里你很清楚 ，the divergence of a vector field will give you the normal component of the vector field across a boundary. And the curl of a vector field is going to give you the tangential component of the vector field across a boundary, right? 所以呢，你很快的这个可以得到 across a boundary, the normal component of J has to be continuous. 从这里，对， 产生一个这个小的 PO box 在这个边界上头 ，just like you derive the boundary conditions for D, the electric flux density. Now let's take the second equation. The second equation is going to give you the tangential component across the of J across the boundary, but inside this integration, the current density is divided by the conductivity, so you have to keep the conductivity in this expression. 这是它的这个切线方向的 J 必须符合这个条件。所以呢，你知道这个电流流过一个边界的时候呢，这个 normal component and tangential component have to follow this two relationship. OK. 那经常你在解这个问题的时候呢，会包含电场在里头。那之前呢，你已经知道这个电场呢 ，if you take a reference direction along AN2 direction, then the normal component of electric field and tangential component electric field will follow these two expressions. OK， 这个是之前第一次期中考之前的这个问题，来，但是不要忘了。这个 low s 是有正负号的，这个正负号呢是 reference 到 AN2 那个方向。Okay, if you still remember, we have AN2 dot with D1 minus D2 equal to rho s. So the reference direction is the reference direction is with respect to this second medium. So don't forget, because charge has a sign. So let's look into this example. If you have some low C direction material, 1 and 2, and so this is not exactly a piece of conductor. 如果说你有电流的话 if you have a current going through this interface, we'll see that at this interface, you can accumulate some surface charge. OK， 那我们来看一下哈，这个对于 normal component 来讲的话呢，你有这么一个条件在这个地方。对于这个D 来讲的话，你有这个条件在这个地方，所以呢，你有两个式子，然后呢we don't know yet E1n and E2n, but E1n and E2n 是可以从这两个式子里头把它解出来。OK， 因为你有两个这个你有两个这个变数在这个地方。那 if you know J1n and J2n, then sigma 1 E1n is equal to this. Sigma 2 E2n is equal to this. Okay, so if you combine these two equations and then just look for the surface charge in this region, you end up having an expression like this. So as long as you have E2n, this means that as long as you have J2n, as long as you have E1n, this means that you have a current going, normal component of current going this direction and penetrates through this second medium. Then there's always accumulation of surface charge. OK， 那只有在一个条件之下呢，你不会累积这个电荷。That is, if this ratio is maintained. Conductivity of the first material to the conductivity of second material is equal to the ratio of the permittivity of the first material and permittivity of the second material. OK， 所以在这里呢。这是一个蛮特别的现象，也就是说，它不是一个conductor。以前 previously we say that if you want to have a surface charge accumulated on some surface, this material has to be a piece of conductor. Okay, but for this case, if you have a current going through two low C dielectric with two different permittivity, you can also accumulate some surface charge right here. Okay, and sometimes this surface charge is a problem to some electronic circuit, because once you accumulate some charge across some boundary, the device becomes unstable. 这个电荷呢，累积到一个程度之后呢，它会变得很不稳定，会譬如说爆掉或之类的。OK， 那尤其是有一些这个物质呢，铁电物质 （ferroelectric material），that it can accumulate a lot of charges on the surface, and when you process the wafer, change the temperature, the wafer actually can explode， 会爆掉。OK， 这个库仑力是很大的。另外一个例子呢，这个if you don't have a perfect capacitor, well, when we talk about capacitor, we previously we always assume that you have a perfect dielectric material between two electrodes. Therefore, there's no leakage current through this capacitor. 之前我们都假设一个电容的话，中间的这个东西是一个完全不导电的介电物质。But that is an ideal case. In fact, if you have some low C dielectric in this region, then you could accumulate some charge inside. Okay, and this will affect the charge storage capacity of this device. 所以我们来看一下这个例子哈，假设你有一个这个电容 ，if you have a capacitor connected to a battery with a voltage of V, and want to know the surface charge on this piece of metal and the surface charge on this piece of electrode, and also the surface charge in between. Suppose that this is a leaky dielectric material, so there's a current going down from the top plate to the bottom plate with a current density of Joule and Joule. And previously, we already calculated the surface charge accumulated between these two leaky dielectric material. So for this case, you can also expect that there's a non-zero interface surface charge at this location. And we also want to know the electric field here and here. And of course, this electric field is going to be proportional to J1, E1 proportional to J1, and E2 proportional to J2. OK， 所以在这个例子里头呢，我们要找一堆的这个参数出来。OK，so 我们先来看一下。With this geometry, you don't have tangential component of electric field. You don't have tangential component of the current. So now the problem can be simplified. Okay, so you just apply the boundary condition for the normal component of the electric field and also the current. 那这个如果只有这个 normal component of 电流的话，那你知道这个电流是连续的。Okay, so 这个之前我们已经写出两个式子出来了，在上一页的两个式子。Okay, so you have E1, E2, E1n and E2n. Well, the good thing about these two equations is that the two equations can solve for two variables. So you can just calculate E1n and E2n and assume that you know this interface charge. OK， 你如果假设这个 interface charge 是知道的话，那你很快的你可以写出 E1n and E2n. But in fact, we do not know this interface charge. So we have to use a second boundary condition. OK， 那所以呢，再把第二个这个条件写出来的话，就是 E1 D1 plus E2 D2 is going to be equal to the total voltage. OK， 那 E1 这里写出来 ，E2 这里写出来，这个 D1 D2 都是你知道的。And this voltage is something you apply to the capacitor. So you definitely know that the V, D1 and D2. So now you have this interface charge right here. 那在这里呢，你可以看到，就是当你如果满足刚刚那个条件 ，epsilon 1 divided by epsilon 2 equal to sigma 2 sigma 1 divided by sigma 2，这个 interface charge 可以消除掉的。OK， 所以这些都是 algebra。那只是告诉你一个例子，就是怎么算这些问题而已。Okay, so you have an interface charge. With this interface charge, you can put this back to this expression and this expression. 所以呢，你就得到 E1n and E2n. 这个数学式子我不再给你看了 ，OK， 因为你会看得昏头。So you put this interface charge back to E1n and E2n, so you end up having the E1n and E2n, and then the surface charge here and here just basically is AN2 dot with D. Use this, and you can do 1, 2 to get 1, 2, or top down. 所以这个计算呢就很直接了，把这个放进来 ，and then you use this expression to find out the surface charge on this piece of conductor and on this piece of conductor. Well, be careful that this is the surface charge, isolated charge on a piece of conductor, 并不是这个 directed material 里头这个地方的 polarization charge. That's different. Okay, if you want to calculate the polarization charge density, if you want to calculate the polarization surface charge, then you have to do this A and 2 dot with P. That gives you the polarization charge density on this piece of directed material. That in general is different from the surface charge density on a piece of conductor. OK， 那我们现在在求的这个 ρ S1 ρ S2 呢，是这个在这个导体上头累积的这个电荷。这个电荷呢是这个电容里头储存的电荷，是你要拿来用的电荷。OK， so this is important. 我们之前有一个例子是算这个 polarization charge density, right? 这个direction material 上头。Okay, any question? 没有问题，我们这一章讲的比较快，因为基本上是有点复习你们以前的普通物理。Well, the good thing about looking into the fundamental physics of first principle, you can sort of relay some variables without going through a tedious calculation. So previously, well, think about you have, say, parallel plate capacitor, and you accumulate the charge on these two electrodes by connecting it through some battery. And you can deduce that this C is equal to Q over V. That is the amount of charge you can store per unit voltage for this device. And now let's think about if we have some sort of resistance. This material is leaky. There's some loss. There's some lossy dielectric. And so for this lossy dielectric, I'm going to have a resistance associated with it. This is V over I. Okay, so if I multiply these two together, well, this V is the same as V here. Right? So if I multiply these two together, I have RC equal to Q divided by I. And Q is a charge stored on this capacitor, on this electrode. I is the current going through. Okay, so let's convert this Q. Let's look at this Q. You can do a Gauss law and say you pick up a surface like this, and this Q can be calculated from this Gauss law. And there's no electric field in this region. So basically, you are calculating the surface around this region, the electric flux density. Okay, and for this current, you are doing this calculation. J dot ds. Okay, and this J dot ds, the surface of this can be chosen to be the same as ds right here. Make a cross path, cross surface integration, because there's no current here anyway. 你在这里没有电流，所以这个面不是那么重要。所以呢，你可以在这里补上一个这个 cross surface integration 的这个 sign 这里不是问题。OK， 所以呢，我们把这个 RC 拿过来。Now you have RC equal to Q over I, and this is equal to D dot ds, and this becomes J dot ds. But you also know that this J is equal to, I can continue to write this into E, conductivity multiplied with E dot ds. Right? So let's continue to write it. 但是呢，这个 D, you can take out this epsilon. That is permittivity of the Rossi dielectric. And then you do this E dot ds. And then you have conductivity divided by E dot ds. Well, this is very nice. You just cancel these two surface integration and end up having RC equal to epsilon divided by conductivity.我这告诉你说，你只要知道 R 或 C 的话，你可以去求另外一个值。All right, if you know C, you can deduce R by doing epsilon divided by conductivity and divided by C. OK， 你就不需要经过这个很复杂的计算，又去算 R， 又去算 C 等等的这个独立的计算。No, you don't need to do that. Okay, so in your textbook, previously you deduced the capacitance of this two-wire transmission line with a finite diameter, and the capacitance for a length of L for this two-wire transmission line is equal to this. Well, look a little bit complicated, right? This is arc cosh D over 2A. And then suppose that there's a leakage current going through these two wire. So there's a conductivity associated with the material between these two wires. And we want to know the resistance associated with this two-wire transmission line. 从这里跑过来，那你就用刚刚那个式子 ，RC equal to epsilon divided by conductivity, and then you have R equal to epsilon C sigma. Well, now that you know C, you can get R. 我在这里的话，你得到一个公式，得到一个式子，你要来看一下到底合不合理。This C is proportional to the length of the two-wire transmission line. But it's reasonable because the longer the wire is, the more charge you can store. So this capacitance is proportional to L. the length of the two-wire transmission line, right? But for this R is inversely proportional to L. 这个 two-wire transmission line 越长，你的电阻越小。之前 So previously, you have a single wire with a length of L. Your R is equal to L sigma S. This R is proportional to L because the longer the wire is, the more cohesion you have inside this wire. Therefore, your resistance is increased with the length of L. But for this case, it's 1 over L. 哇，你注意到这里的这个电阻呢，是看这两个线中间的区域。这个电阻呢，是看这个线的两端，两回事。所以呢，你现在的这个例子呢，是看这个线的两端。Okay, so between this wire you have J flowing between these two wires. So this means that you can think about this as parallelly connected resistors. So the longer you choose for this two-wire transmission line, your conductance is going to increase, and the resistance is going to drop. Okay, think about this is like a G1, G2, Gn. Your total G is going to be equal to G1 plus G2, plus Gn. So this G is proportional to L. So you end up having R equal to 1 over G proportional to 1 over L. OK， 这为什么你在这里会看到一个 L 的关系，在这个底下，在分母的地方。OK， 所以我教你说，哎，你要留意一下这个，这个事实上是 inverse proportional to L， because look at this G。OK， 这个是中间在连的，相当于是一个并联的这个电阻。所以你在做计算的时候呢，你不能拿这个式子 capacitance per unit length 去算这个 RLCL。This is wrong. Okay. You have to use this to do your calculation. 有没有问题？刚刚我们有一个好问题哈，我再回来一下。一刚开始的时候，你的大名是什么？笑脸嘞？不是啦，前面那个你刚刚问的这个，这里的边界条件。你刚刚不是问了这个边界条件吗？你的大名是陈鸿正啊 ，right。你问个好问题，我都会帮你做个记录。这里的边界条件，这里的电场，会不会永远都是0？如果说这里的电荷出来的不多的话，答案是不会等于0。OK， so I told you that this is a space charge limited boundary condition. And you need to have enough charge above this plate to get this boundary condition. 那通常在一个这个阴极射线管里头呢，这里是加热的。那加热到一个程度，让这里的电子呢不断的冒上来，因为热的关系。 OK， 所以另外一个方法来看这么一个边界条件的话，就是you have high temperature on this cathode, and the temperature is so high that the electron is going to move up all the time until the electric field at this location compensate with the electric field you apply to it, and then you have this kind of boundary condition. 0 electric field at this location, and this is specifically applied to a condition that we call a space charge limited boundary condition. OK， 那所以呢，我刚才一直在强调，就是这个边界条件呢是有一个特别的状况，叫做 space charge limited boundary condition， 也就是说你在这里产生的电荷呢是高到一个程度，把这个电场呢把它给 cancel 掉。那这个通常都是因为你在这个地方呢是把它温度加到相当高的温度 ，OK。如果说这里温度不够高的话呢，这里的电场不会是全是0 ，OK。这个电子会不断的这个往上走，然后呢这里呢也会往上跑 ，OK。所以你 charge density 要高到一个程度，你才会得到这个边界条件。So if you read some literature about this vacuum diode, very often that there's a statement telling you this vacuum diode following this expression has to work in the space charge limited condition. This means that you have sort of infinite amount of charge that can jump up to reach this boundary condition. OK， 还有没有问题？我们有没有问题呢 ？Any questions？ 没有问题的话，这表示我们上个礼拜一没有考的小考要开始考了。哦，哇 ，OK。
我想请问一下，就是那个 mobility 的，它的正负号的定义是什么
？mobility 永远都是定义是正的，所以你才会发现有正负号。OK。So we have a question about U equal to minus mu E plus mu this is whole E. OK， 对于这个 electron mobility 来讲的话，我们在前面放个负号，最主要是因为这个 这个 mu E 我们已经设定它是正的值。OK， 所以呢，这个电子跑的方向会跟你电场的方向反过来，所以呢，这个 mobility is always positive. Okay, under this condition, then you have minus sign in front of this mu e when you write down the velocity associated with the electron and electric field.
所以它 mobility 的定义就是它的方向就是跟电场方向是这样吗？
不，它的这个速度的方向跟电场方向呢是相反的，对电子来讲。那为了描述这种情形，然后呢又定义 mobility 永远都是正的，这时候我必须在前面加一个负号。OK， 所以你查表的时候，你查 mobility 的话呢，不管是 mu e 还是这个 mu h， 它永远都是正的。但你写下来的时候呢，你在这个电子的这个速度跟电场关系前面，你就要加一个负号。OK， 对后来讲的话，你就没有这个问题。OK， 刚刚还有另外一个问题是谁？哎，你的大名是？王。等下下课的时候啊，我为什么看不到你名字？最上哦 I saw it. Okay, another question. One more question. 两片板子。For the leaky capacitor, right? 这个。 刚刚请一个同学讲。Oh, okay. The question is, well, is this a piece of capacitor? Answer is no. 这不是一个 capacitor， 它是不储存电荷的。你电荷出来一个，它就跳进电荷从这里出来一个，它就跳进另外一个里头去，然后形成一个回路。So this is not a capacitor. Basically, it's a piece of conductor, except that the conducting material here is vacuum. 是真空。真空的话，电子可以流动，就像电子可以在导体里头流动一样。所以它算是一个导体一样的东西，只是呢，它的 IV curve 不是 Ohmic 的这个 relationship。类似接了一个电阻，但是它不是线性的，所以以前真空管的这个IV curve 的话就不是线性的 ，right？ 一个奇怪的电阻，然后呢，这个 IV curve 是有2分3次方的 dependence，and this is not a capacitor。
不会有电荷在那个累积在上面，就是不会在累积。
它这里也会是会也是累积电荷在这个地方，但是呢，它的主要功能是用它的 IV curve。我当然，你任何的这个，包括一个电阻的话，它本身也有一点小小的 C 在那个地方，从这个上头来看 ，OK。所以呢，但是它主要的这个元件的话，譬如说我们买一个电阻的话，我们不会说它是一个电容，但是呢，你去算它这个任何一个电阻还是有一些 C 的这个值在里头 ，OK。那这个元件呢，主要是它用它的非常特别的 IV 的这种关系式来做一些应用，真空管的这个应用，那的确是有些电荷，然后呢但是呢它是有很强的漏电流的这种 capacitor，OK， 所以它主要是一个特别的 IV curve 的元件在那个地方，但是它的确你仔细去算，它的确会有些电容在里头 ，OK。Good， 好，我们下课了吗？那我们礼拜三的时候继续。